That failure comes in small and large organizations. It comes from not realizing that the importance of having a proper governance structure, a proper team to carry out those functions, and too often that is the reason. And when you have when you lack that awareness, then you are not aware of the key work, the critical work that is not being done or that is being missed, and therefore you're increasing your exposure. From experience, I can tell you, a client a long time ago had to face $1 million plus fines because they just did not know that things had to be done. They could not open an office in Rome because they weren't informed that in Rome, to open an office, you must have a staff in that office. You cannot just rent a PO box. You have to have staff. So then all of a sudden you paid so much to gain that legal entity in Italy, but now you can't open an office till you put 3 people in that office. And then what do you do with those 3 people? So these things come from knowing, from allowing people to do their jobs, from realizing that I might not know everything, and therefore I should put in people that ask the right questions. Because keep in mind, when you bring in an integration team, they are going to help you integrate. And integration has so many components to it, so many unturned stones and rocks, that somebody has to do that. And that's too often that is the case of the failures or any setbacks, not realizing. And also the mentality is, we don't need it, we can do it ourselves. And what that is, time and again, I see that we can do it ourselves. And that's, by the time then you bring in outside help, it's because you're already drowning. And then it costs you way more than it should have ever cost. So that's what the situation is.
Absolutely. That's an unfortunate situation to find yourself in. You've already spent the money, and something so small and technical ends up, throwing everything out the window. We see it a lot with our lease accounting work and getting up to the lease accounting standards, where companies say, you know what, we'll take care of it on our own. And we got a couple of people that can figure this out. But once they actually dive into it, they realize the position they've put themselves in, and they have to reach out to help. At that point, it's not necessarily too late, but they're already behind the 8 ball, and they might have to put out more, money to actually get everything complete.
Absolutely. I'll give you an example. I had a client in Lisbon, Portugal. I asked them to hire an English speaker, somebody who can translate the documents, or contract with a firm that will translate and notarize the documents for them. They didn't. One of their assistants opted to use Google Translate. And in doing so, the objective was to cancel the lease of 7 cars in Lisbon. She somehow managed to lease 11 cars in the Moscow office because of the Google translation documents. Portuguese is one of those languages where every word can be described 99 different ways. And you cannot use Google Translate to do legal document translation. And that was a setback for this client. And then it became like, wow, it came like, do you want Skoda cars or Fiats? And that's when they're like, what are they talking about? And so, you have to invest. You have to spend the money where it's needed, and never be penny wise and pound foolish.
Absolutely. That is a fantastic but unfortunate scenario, I'm sure, that they found themselves in. But and you never want to look back retrospectively and say, man, we should have really invested the time and the effort into that. So very unfortunate, but a good lesson learned.